all here. It's a thrill to be here. You've just seen a snapshot of our Penn Compact 2020. You know that what we've done is look, after listening about figuring out what's most distinctive about Penn, we want to figure out how we can make Penn distinctively great in the three major ideals that a Penn education stands for: inclusion, innovation, and impact. And wherever I go around this country or around the world, what impresses me most is how our Penn alumni and friends are living out this Penn Compact 2020 ideal. So we do a lot on campus, and I want you all to come back to campus often, but the most important thing we do is send out amazing alums into the world who make an impact in the world, who use their Penn education to make a difference in the world. And wherever I go around this country, whether it's to Boston or Beijing, out of this country, I hear stories from you, from Penn alumni, who tell me these amazing stories about how their Penn education transformed their lives, made a huge difference in their lives. So we have a very unique evening in store, and the idea for it came from this very fact, from the stories that you have told me about the difference Penn has made in your lives. So here was the idea. The idea was, since you tell me these wonderful stories, and it really is the most thrilling part of my job to hear those stories, to confirmation of the difference that a Penn education makes in your life, I thought, let's bring stories in the making, Penn stories in the making, to you, our wonderful alumni. So the idea, which will play out tonight, it's totally unscripted. There'll be 3 students who I get to interview. I can ask them any questions. We haven't rehearsed this, about what's happening at Penn in their lives and what kind of a difference they see a Penn education making in their lives. I hope it's good. But I know it's going to be interesting, and I bet it's going to be good. So without further ado, please join me in welcoming 3 students at Penn, but right here in Boston for this evening. Salomawit, I got it now, Bakala, who is a junior in our College of Arts and Sciences. Aaron Guo, who is a junior in engineering and Wharton. A dual degree program, which we'll hear more about, okay?
Thank you.
And Hannah Buckland, who is a senior in the college. Hannah. Okay, have a seat. So let's get started. We're going to begin with basics, okay? We'll begin with Hannah, but I'll ask each of you, where are you from and what are you studying at Penn? So Hannah, begin.
My family's from Syracuse, New York.
Here? Okay.
I'm in the Vagelos Scholars Program in the Molecular Life Sciences, and I'm double majoring in biochemistry and biophysics, and also sub-matriculating into a master's degree in chemistry.
Oh. Okay, if it makes you feel any better, it makes me feel, what did I do as an undergraduate as well? Aaron.
I'm a junior in the M&T program, so I'm studying systems engineering within the engineering school, and then management and new product development in the Wharton School.
And where are you from?
And I'm from Washington, D.C.
Anyone here was in M&T when they were M&T? We have at least one, right? There we go. Salam.
Hi, everybody. So I was originally born in Ethiopia, and I live in California in the US, and I'm studying health and societies with a concentration in global health.
Okay, so let me start with Salam, a follow-up question. So you came to this country from Ethiopia when you were about 11.
Yes.
Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
that's not, if we began born in Ethiopia, that's not the typical path to Penn, right?
Definitely not.
So tell me how you got to Penn from where you started. What was the path to Penn?
Oh, it's a strange one, I think.
Share it with us.
I moved to the US in 2007, which is kind of crazy sitting here and kind of thinking it's only about 10 years ago. When I was in high school, I think my goal was to finish and go to community college. That was what everybody around me did. And so Penn and Ivy League schools were not in my realm. I didn't actually know about them. And I found out about a program called QuestBridge, which I applied, and they basically provided me the support on how to apply to college. And when I was choosing colleges, I think Penn stood out to me because of the no loan financial aid. That was definitely very key. And I also wanted to be a place where my interests were all over the place, and I wanted somewhere big enough that I was able to explore them. So I think by the end of my senior year, or I think end of my junior year and like beginning of senior year, I still did not think I was able to go to Penn because I looked at the sticker price, but I just never thought that access would be there. So I was applying to jobs because I was planning to take a couple of years off to work. And so I had an acceptance to work at PetSmart, an acceptance to Penn. And that's such a strange reality. So that's how I ended up here.
And do you remember when you got the acceptance?
Yes.
So,
oh my gosh.
yeah, I want to hear it.
It was, I think, so a National College Match Scholarship for QuestBridge comes out on November 28th. And just I could not pay attention the whole day. And my professors were so excited. They had already kind of planned a little party. And I think it was on my last class, my professor just couldn't wait until I could open it. So she just kind of pulled me out of class to open it, and it was like a school-wide announcement and whatnot. Because I think probably my school sends only a couple of students to Ivy League schools, and especially not from somebody from my background.
So it's wonderful to hear. We partner with QuestBridge,
Yes.
and it's exactly to get you that we do that, and that with our no loan policy. That's fabulous to hear. So, Aaron, you're in the M&T program, which for those of you who weren't in M&T, it unites engineering and business. Why did you think that was right for you? Because you actually applied to M&T, right? Yeah. So how did you find out about it? Why did you think it was right for you? And do you still think it's right for you?
Yeah. Absolutely. So I'm very interested in tackling environmental sustainability into the future. And I think in high school I was definitely very focused on kind of the research side, definitely doing a lot of lab work. I wanted to create a lot of the technical breakthroughs within the field to kind of move things forward. But I think as I dove more and more into sustainability, I realized that there are actually a lot of breakthroughs, a lot of products, a lot of innovations that come out of labs and are ready to make change in the world. But for whatever reason, whether it's just like a different set of skills or anything like that, a lot of them kind of fall by the wayside as you try to get them to their intended beneficiaries, as you try to get them to their market, if you will. And I think that because of that, I realized that I really wanted to learn from both sides of that spectrum. So to be able to pick up a lot of those engineering skills to drive the research and development, but then also a lot of the business skills from the Wharton School to bring those breakthroughs to their intended beneficiaries. And I think that it's been definitely a really, really cool experience so far, and something that I'm still pursuing into the future.
Great, great. So Hannah, you spent several years working in a lab of one of our doctors, Virginia Lee, right?
Yeah.
And that's something that we are very proud that 70% of our students do independent research with a faculty member. Now, Virginia Lee is in the medical school. Tell us a little bit about your research and how that happened. How were you drawn to Dr. Lee's lab?
Yeah, so it was kind of funny. I was a little bit surprised in picking the lab. So I was actually, I've had type 1 diabetes for 15 years. So coming to Penn, I was actually really interested in doing diabetes research. And in high school, I did a little bit of work doing like an insulin compound in a chemistry lab. But then my advisor told me, he was like, you're at Penn, you need to try to explore something new. So I said, okay, I was kind of scratching my head, trying to figure out what to do. So I was in his office one day, and there was a senior in his office who had worked for Virginia Lee, and he was telling me, yeah, this lab, it's amazing. It's close to like 75 people. We do all sorts of neurodegenerative diseases. And it was just amazing. And like a typical lab, like a lab of 20 is a big lab. So this was something brand new to me, and I just thought it sounded really amazing. So I contacted Dr. Lee, and I got a position in the lab at the end of my freshman year. And so the lab itself, it's almost like this entire research center just within this, like in one wing of the UPenn hospital. And we do all sorts of neurodegenerative diseases, and I particularly focus on Parkinson's disease. And my experience there has been amazing. I spent the first year really doing some protein work. We were doing a lot of what we call in vitro or like in test tube experiments. And then I've always been interested in pursuing medicine. So at the end of my first year, Virginia and I were talking, and she said, it might be a good idea for you to switch to a project that has a little bit more of a human focus. So I actually began to work with human brain tissue and actually staining with antibodies to look for different patterns in protein aggregation. And so that was really amazing. And the really neat thing about it is the lab has so many resources. There's actually a morgue in the basement, and we are able to literally go from I was actually able to go downstairs, watch this autopsy happen, see the brain be removed and then brought upstairs fixed, and then I would actually work with that tissue, go through the preparation of fixing it in wax and cutting and staining it. So it was really amazing, and it made me really appreciate, how amazing this research was and what a unique experience that was to understand where this, how the patients in the hospital are really contributing to our work. And one of the, I think, most memorable things that I can think of my experience in that lab was at the end of my junior year, then Virginia and I were talking about what to do for my senior thesis project, and she basically told me, this lab is yours. Like, you tell me what you want to do. And coming from, I could arguably say that the research lab really is like the top neurodegenerative disease lab in the world. And so just to hear that from Dr. Lee say, these resources are yours, like coming, being at Penn, there really aren't many other places where you would have that opportunity. So I've been working with now frozen human brain tissue and trying to do protein extractions from that. So also within that realm, we have a lot of physician scientists who work in our labs who actually see patients and do research. And so I kind of close that loop then by shadowing Parkinson's disease patients and kind of seeing, the questions that I'm asking at the bench, seeing these like heterogeneous symptoms in these patients, and then it's been really amazing. So
it is really amazing. Yeah, you can applaud. I know. It's definitely. It's really wonderful. So, Salam.
Yes.
You just won the 2016 Catherine Davis Project's Peace Prize.
Yes.
Tell us about your project.
So it's very recent, so I'm still not done getting excited about it. I think growing up, I just grew up in a small town where healthcare was a huge issue, and where socially marginalized communities were affected in their health realm because healthcare was not able to reach them. And so my friends and I co-founded a nonprofit organization called Kids of Dakar. And it's actually about children who go to Islamic schools and are usually, because of industrialization, are not able to farm, which was how it used to happen. Yeah. They were able to feed themselves. And now they are forced to beg for food. And so these kids are malnourished, and also because of that, they're exposed to a lot of infections. And we learned about it in class, and that was something that grabbed my attention. And I guess I don't know if that's a normal conversation you have at the dorm, but my friends and I were talking about that, and we just wanted to do something more. So we co-founded this nonprofit, and we started looking at talking to advisors, to trying to come up with a plan. And so last year we started a feeding center for those children, and it's still going on. It's about on its 10th month. And this year we wanted to have a holistic approach to healthcare, nutrition, and as well as biomedicine. So this year we wanted to do something that's hygiene and health oriented. And so we drafted a program. We had a lot of advisors from the med school, the School of the Communication, SB2, who helped us.
SB2 is Social Policy and Practice. It was formerly called Social Work, but it's expanded. It does social work and all kinds of social justice in the community and around the world. So
so we had their advice, and also we worked very closely with Curve, and we were able to submit a proposal to work in Senegal. And we got the funding and that got approved, so I'll definitely be going to Senegal this summer.
Congratulations.
Thank
That's
you.
terrific. That's really terrific. So there is a theme here, and it's social impact, I realize. I'm just realizing this, and maybe you've already spoken to one another and realized that what draws you together is a theme at Penn. Aaron, as a sophomore, you were a Social Impact House Fellow. So tell us about your experience and what you worked on.
Yeah, absolutely. So the Social Impact House was something I did in 2014, and basically it was like a 2-week kind of accelerator program for ventures that we had in mind. And I actually applied with a venture in environmental sustainability education. But over the course of the 2 weeks, in meeting with a lot of the other students, lots of grad students from SB2, from Graduate School of Education, from the School of Design, and the undergraduates as well, and even the mentors, it kind of morphed and changed a little bit and was refined to the point where I actually started an environmental sustainability consulting group on campus called the Environ Group, and basically we work with businesses to help make them more sustainable, hopefully more responsible members of the community, but then also to help them save money as well to kind of help the bottom line. And so last semester we actually started our pilot projects, and one of the projects that we're working with that started then was with the Philadelphia Zoo. And one that we're starting next fall is going to be with the Schuylkill Center for Environmental Education, basically helping them create a master plan for their facilities.
What with the zoo?
Yeah, absolutely. So
the zoo really, I go to the zoo a lot now because I have 2 little grandchildren. And so Sunday morning we go to the zoo. What in sustainability in this? They have a lot of sustainability exhibits. So what did you do with them?
Absolutely. So
the Philadelphia Zoo, by the way, is the oldest zoo in the United States, and it's actually, and it's modernized tremendously, doing sustainability and letting the big animals roam overhead and so on.
Yeah.
I'm an expert at this now. Go ahead.
Absolutely. So 2 of the projects that we're hoping to continue into the future are one with some of the new construction that the zoo is doing on the south end of their property, and then second with the food sourcing that they actually go through in order to provide for a lot of visitors that move through the property over the course of the year.
Terrific, really terrific. So something I always find, and we're really proud about Penn students, is they come to Penn, they bring their passions, they develop their skills, and they're really open to new things happening, and they make the most of them. So my question to each of you, this is a question for each of you, is there something since you've come to Penn, since you seem all very directed, you came with ideas about what you wanted to do. Is there something new that happened at Penn that surprised you? Some way in which you took a turn that that was unexpected? Anything surprising about your time so far at Penn?
Yeah, absolutely.
Aaron? Jump in.
I think one of the things has just been the flexibility in terms of what kind of classes I'm able to take and what kind of communities I'm able to interact in. I thought that I would definitely be very much surrounded by people who are working in environmental sustainability, in engineering, in the Wharton School, right? But over the course of my time, like this semester I'm taking a cinema studies class just because it sounded really interesting. Next semester I'll be taking a nursing class. And it's just things that sound interesting that I'm hoping to get a better handle on. And I think that it's been incredible to have those kinds of opportunities. Even on campus, I love to practice my photography here and there. So I'll take photos for like Pen Appetit, which is like a food magazine, and for a lot of the performing arts groups as well. And so just being able to interact and I think get to know a lot of the communities on Penn's campus where there's so much diversity in terms of interests and backgrounds has been really, really cool.
And I bet all of those things you will find later in life come in handy, come back as part of your imaginative, innovative toolkit. Yeah. Hannah.
Yeah, so I think sort of along the same lines as what Erin was talking about, like just the opportunity to take such amazing classes. So I actually, in addition to my love for the sciences, I'm a huge policy person as well. So I actually, starting my freshman year, I took advantage of taking a graduate level global water issues class. I was really interested because there was a trip to the United Nations and we got to sort of explore policy in that way. I've taken a lot of actually global, like the bioethics classes in particular. I think the biggest turn sort of in that was I took the course by Dr. Zeke Emanuel about the Affordable Care Act in fall of 2013, I guess it would have been, as the exchanges were opening and everything was sort of rolling out. And so that was amazing to be learning about things in real time. And then to see like Dr. Emanuel go up on TV that night and talk about something that had happened, or he mentioned like a homework assignment in the New York Times. That was just amazing to be so invested into the sciences, but then have the opportunity to really get to explore, I guess, healthcare from all these different perspectives. And additionally, I never thought that I'd be really involved with Wharton, but I became involved with the Wharton Undergraduate Healthcare Club. Particularly, I actually took on a leadership position as the corporate relations committee, and we actually every semester would plan this huge dinner we particularly tried to bring in a lot of Penn alumni who were involved with different things. We got Dr. Vagelos, and we also got Dr. Stanley Prusner, who won a Nobel Prize in discovering prion proteins, which is sort of this infectious neurodegenerative disease. So it was just amazing to have those opportunities to go into different, even though my program's so focused on the sciences, just to be able to go into different areas.
So I heard you speak at the scholarship reception, and you told the story about your own healthcare and how it inspired you to create a club at Penn and beyond, which to me is the practice of bioethics, right?
Yeah.
So can you tell people about it was a literal road to Philadelphia for you, right? And Penn. So I think people will be I find it just fascinating and inspiring.
Sure. So as I sort of mentioned earlier, I have type 1 diabetes. I was actually diagnosed 15 years ago at the Children's Hospital of Philadelphia. My family and I were living in Doylestown at the time, which is a suburb of Philly. And so the care that I received there was amazing. And the thing that has really been so inspiring to me is that my medical team at the Children's Hospital never made it feel like diabetes was something to hold me back. It was just I feel lucky that I was diagnosed at such a young age, and it became it's my everyday life. I'm so used to it. But so my family and I moved to Syracuse, New York when I was in 8th grade, but we actually my mom and I would drive down 4 times a year, make a 4-hour trip each way just to continue to receive care there up until the end of high school. And so when I was thinking about colleges, having great medical care was definitely a huge priority, and I found out about the Vagelos program and being close to Penn. All the factors just sort of seemed to line up. My endocrinologist actually went to Penn as an undergrad as well, so it was great. So I ended up coming to Penn. I applied early decision and got in. And so it was sort of my goal, being here, was that I had received such amazing care as a child that I wanted to be able to give back to the community. So I founded a chapter of what's called the College Diabetes Network. They're actually headquartered here in Boston. I met with them this afternoon at the national office. But so it's basically
Where is it?
They have the office on 50th and Milk Street. So I got to visit them this afternoon, which was great. But so basically, it's a national nonprofit organization that aims to provide resources and support for students with type 1 diabetes on campuses. And when I joined the organization my freshman year, I started the UPenn chapter, and there were less than 20 chapters at the time. But I really sort of took an initiative to not only develop a chapter for students with type 1 diabetes within Penn's undergraduate campus, but I reached out to students in really all the different schools at Penn. I did a lot of networking with the Children's Hospital, with the UPenn Hospital, with fundraising organizations in Philadelphia. And so I sort of built this network within Philadelphia, and then I took this nationally as well. I was the first student leader of the organization. I helped them really expand to, now we have over 80 chapters. I'd go to national conferences.
Over 80 chapters
Over
now.
80, yeah. I went to national conferences. They flew me up here twice to meet and sort of do national planning weekends. So it's been amazing to really be able to give back to people. And I think sort of the most impactful thing to me was I actually did a lot of volunteering at the Children's Hospital. hospital, and there's this big conference that they hold every spring called the Living Well with Diabetes Conference. And my mom and my sisters and I would attend that when I was younger, and then started my freshman year, actually started volunteering there. I got a table, set up my College Diabetes Network things, and I was talking to the parents, and just to, I actually have stayed with my endocrinologist throughout my 4 years at Penn, so I just had my last appointment last week, which was a little sad that I have to finally move to an adult doctor, but it's okay. When I sit next to the 2-year-olds in the waiting room, I realize it's time that I move on. But yeah, no, it was amazing just to, it was so inspirational for me to be standing next to these parents and just, see their child, say, who was diagnosed within a couple years, and just tell them, it's gonna be okay. You were with the best medical care out there, and things are gonna be all right. So
it's terrific. We are blessed with a great healthcare system at Penn, and great doctors. It's real, and great nurses too. What surprised you at Penn? I should probably ask you what didn't surprise you, but what was the most unexpected thing for you?
I think I can definitely echo academically what I've experienced, but I think what's something outstanding is that I never thought I had a musical bone in my body. But I think coming here, I took a class called African music, and it was a class where I got to go to a Baptist church and a mosque and a concert to just learn about music. And I think just kind of experiencing the culture that way, I wanted to get involved. So I joined a drum and dance troupe called African Rhythms. So I've been drumming with them for the past 2 years now. And I think in that group, it wasn't just about the music, it was about the culture behind it. And we had mentors from the community who would bring us to people who practice the religion. Say if we do Afro-Cuban, they would take us to a shrine where they do the Santeria religion. So we valued the meaning of the music. And so I think just being deeply involved in it took me into a different realm of Philly. And I think I never thought I would, I had never visited Philly when I came here, but I think I can see myself living here because of that. It's just, the culture is rich.
We want you to stay in Philly.
So I think definitely finding this musical outlet and pursuing it and finding a whole different culture within it is definitely something I did not expect to find at Penn.
So you two, Aaron and Salam, will be seniors next year. So is there something you want to do next year that you haven't done yet? Or are you ready to graduate?
Oh, no. We were actually talking about that. We just settled in. No, we have one more year. I think. You
were saying about Heyday. Why don't you tell people?
Yeah, it's Thursday.
Do you remember Heyday? Okay, it's Thursday.
Yeah,
so come on up. You can walk.
So I'm still kind of freaking about my assignments, and now it's just the realization it's definitely different. But I think something I want to be more involved in is that the advocacy for first generation and low income students. I think just kind of creating a community. So at Penn currently we have a Questbridge Scholars community, and the liaison or the head of the chapter, and we definitely want to build the soft skills you don't get, and that could help you accelerate your academic endeavors or career searches. And I think I definitely want to work on that a lot more, currently I meet with administrators to create new programs and initiatives to make sure that students who get here are able to get through college well and successful, and they feel supported.
And that's so important, and it's such a distinctively important way that Penn operates, that students become leaders in doing things for their peers and with their peers, and we try to fund those things. And being a first-gen student myself, it's very dear to my heart that first-gen students feel like they belong. So just so you know, in our incoming freshman class, 1 out of 8 will be the first generation in their family to graduate from Penn. So that's gone way up, which is really nice. And that is the American dream.
Absolutely.
And we have to keep it alive. So that's a great thing to do. Aaron, something next year that you particularly want to do?
Absolutely. So one thing that I actually just started doing this semester was a very different kind of research than I was expecting or I was used to. And I'm actually doing organizational behavior research in Adam Grant's Impact Lab, which has been a really, really cool experience. And I'm definitely looking forward to continuing that next semester and hopefully continuing to grow the community of givers at Penn as well.
Terrific. Where in your family, you have siblings?
I have 2 younger brothers, so I'm the oldest one.
Wow, okay. Okay, so you're a leader in that regard. Are your younger siblings, your brothers, still at home?
My older younger brother.
Your middle brother?
Exactly. That's a better way to put it. He's a freshman at Virginia Tech. And my youngest brother is actually in 5th grade.
Oh,
so he's
my
11.
Goodness. Okay, he has a ways to go. Hannah, you are a senior. What's the post-Penn plan?
Yeah, so I am heading to Washington University in St. Louis for the MD, PhD program, so it's combined medical school and graduate school. So I have short, like 5-6 weeks in between graduation when I have to start there, so it's coming up quickly, but I'm excited. A little bittersweet, you know, I'm sad for leaving Penn, but it's been an amazing experience.
Well,
so.
Congratulations. MD, PhD programs are really the elite of the elite, so it's great that you're doing that. Okay, we're going to close with this part of with a lightning round, okay? Okay? Quick answers to short questions. Penn in 3 words. Aaron. 3 words.
Only 3. I think innovative, open, and supportive.
It's big in a good way.
Big.
Yeah, big. Man, there are so many words I can think of. Intriguing and inspiring.
Oh, terrific. I love it. Hannah.
Interdisciplinary, supportive, and I guess a leader.
Okay. We're going to collect these 3-word collections and hand them to Lin-Manuel Miranda, who's our commencement speaker, who's the creator of Hamilton, in case you haven't been able to get Impossible to get tickets to it, and see if he can rap them, okay? Bravest Penn moment. Bravest Penn moment.
I'm trying to think.
When did it courage? Yeah.
Maybe being there for my friends when we had really stressful midterm weeks.
There you go. There you go.
I think for me, maybe surviving the floor at Spring Fling. I definitely came in very much reserved and not someone who would have gone to Fling, let alone the floor.
Yeah.
But that was a really, really cool experience.
Okay. I stay away, so truth be told, yes.
I think just getting to Penn. I think
Yeah, that's
after
what I would have said.
getting to Penn and thinking
Yeah.
that not only am I just going to do academics,
Yeah.
but I am able to do whatever I have dreamed of doing.
Great. Really terrific. Favorite professor?
I would say Dr. David Christensen in the chemistry department.
Cool.
I have to go with Adam Grant.
Yeah.
I think for me it's a tie between Dr. Lee Casanelli of the history department and Dr. David Barnes of health and societies.
Terrific. Do you have a personal motto? Do you want to make one up for the moment?
I think for now what I have on my mirror is that you got this.
What?
You got this.
You got this.
Yeah.
I like that. You got this.
I think I'm always repeating to myself that I need to never stop learning.
Never stop learning.
Yeah.
Terrific.
So my dad kind of made a motto for my sisters and I, but be humble, honest, and hardworking.
Be humble, honest, and hardworking. That's terrific. Really terrific. Okay. Ideal Penn scene. Where are you? Who are you with? And what are you doing?
My favorite place on campus is the biopond. And I think the ideal time is lunch after maybe I do work study in a lab, and just kind of sitting there listening to the water, turtles and the ducks. That's just the perfect time for me.
Very nice, very nice.
I'm a big fan of the 6th floor of Van Pelt.
You laugh, it's gorgeous.
It is.
It
It's
has
beautiful.
been totally renovated. You've got to go, when you come back, you have to see it. Go on.
Yeah.
You tell it. But
Especially, I think, just surrounded by a group of friends, whether we're working or just talking. And I think as the sun starts to set, it just, the whole floor is beautiful.
you can see College Green, you can see Center City, Philadelphia. It has a corner office that I always kid that I'm going to move into at some point. And the Shakespeare Library is there, too. Really, really terrific. Okay. You're back on campus for your 10th reunion. This is going to be the hardest one because it's hard to imagine, right? You're back on campus for your 10th reunion. What's the one thing you want to tell your classmates who you haven't seen since your 9th reunion? No. You've come back for... No, what is the one thing since you've graduated you want to tell your classmates whom you haven't seen? This is just a leap of imagination. What would you love, in other words, what would you love to be the case that you have about your life 10 years from the time you graduate? It's 11 years for you all. It's 10 years for Anna.
I guess just something simple, like we did it, we got through Penn, and we're doing great things in the world. So.
I think hopefully I'll be able to say that I've done some really, really impacting work in environmental sustainability that hopefully is really elegant and works, I think, with how the market operates currently.
Terrific.
I think just figure out where are you living. I have a lot of international friends, and you always have a thing of where are we going to live, and we have little maps where we mark, and I think just kind of discovering the world and sharing that story is probably.
So you want to
something.
travel?
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah, really good. Okay. You want to ask me any question?
I actually have one.
Okay.
Okay. I know you're doing a lot of new initiatives, new projects. I think when you look back maybe 10, 15 years from now.
The tables are turned, folks. Okay. Yeah.
What do you want your presidency to be remembered for?
Oh, that's a great question. So let me do it's 10 years from now, and I would like it to be the case that people in this country and around the world think about the University of Pennsylvania as the place where education has made the biggest difference in the world. The education and research that we do has made the biggest difference in the world, as measured by, first and foremost, what our graduates go on to do. And it's put very simply by doing well, by doing good, but in measurable ways, whether it be healthcare, whether it be arts and culture, whether it's politics and public policy. I would love, Penn, that you think about doing well by doing good in higher education. You think of the University of Pennsylvania. And then there are measurable things. I want our financial aid to be the best. I want our multidisciplinary education. We have now 75% of college undergraduates do either a dual degree or major and minor or multidisciplinary, and 71% of students of all of our undergraduates. I would love that to be close to 100% because I really think that the toolkit and problem-driven, solution-driven research and education. So Simply put, I want Penn to be the best. It's just inclusion, innovation, and impact. That's it, yeah.
So I guess I was kind of wondering, so since I'm really interested in bioethics, do you think that undergraduate universities have enough resources for students to become involved in, or to learn about bioethics? And, or do you think, I guess, there are ways that we could continue to improve it or sort of make it mandatory that people learn about that?
Yeah, I'm not big on requiring, having a course requirement as opposed to broad requirements. So I wouldn't require every student to do bioethics, even though I did check, when we hired Zeke Emanuel, who I've known for decades, we both went to school up here. We met there. And then we made the wise choice of coming to Penn, right? When I first met him, I said, the only thing that I'm absolutely, you've got to promise me you do with your Penn Integrates Knowledge University professor is teach undergraduates, open your courses to undergraduates. He said, I'd be happy to do that. So I do think it's great that our undergraduates started the first undergraduate journal in bioethics, and there are a lot of resources for doing bioethics at Penn. But I always think we could do more, especially since we have the medical school, Wharton, arts and sciences, engineering, those are nursing. I mean, we have social policy and practice. I could go on, Annenberg. We have lots and lots of faculty who teach bioethics and care about it. The reason I think it's so important, which you get, but academia has not gotten. So bioethics brings ethics and medicine, technology, and science together. And why is it important for undergraduates? Because we're all going to need healthcare in our lives. We had better understand what a good organization of the healthcare system is. We're all going to be influenced by science and technology. So we better understand how to make it progress. See, I think of ethics, some people think of ethics as stop signs. Don't do this, don't do that. What we've done with the President's Commission of Bioethics is made bioethics the highway down which you can make more and more progress, because if you do something wrong, as in the Tuskegee syphilis horror, you bring progress to a grinding halt. All you have to do is have some simple, really good principles of how we should treat people. So yeah, I think we should do more and more and have not requirements, but more and more courses and clubs that attract students to bioethics. And Penn is a center of this now. So we can, we're going to continue to do that. And I'm really glad you're involved in it. Yeah. Question? Final question?
I think along the lines of science and technology, I was wondering what your thoughts are on how technology will influence higher education into the next 10, 15, 20 years, especially with the rise of things like MOOCs and
yeah. So I think technology is ubiquitous, absolutely ubiquitous, and it will influence absolutely everything. It won't be everything, but it will influence everything. Whether it's online courses or blended learning, which I think is going to be much more important than it is today. It's not going to replace in-class interaction, but nothing replaces, as this forum, nothing replaces the interaction of human beings, because it's motivational, it's inspirational. But the 50-minute stand-up lecture, only a few people would you want to sit and listen to for 50 minutes. And I'm not one of them, right? I like interaction. And most people thrive on interaction. So whether it's online learning that supplements interaction, or you name anything, and every part of our lives is influenced by technology. So, and I think that's why, the applications to our engineering school have skyrocketed. We get phenomenal students, whether they're in engineering or in arts and sciences, nursing, or Wharton, who want to learn something about technology. And you all are digital natives. I was an analog native, but I love technology. And the vice chair of the Bioethics Commission is an engineer, is the president of Emory. He's a great guy, Jim Wagner. And he also cares about ethics. And engineers are can-do people, and technology is really, it's here, and it's only going to get more and more important. We have to make sure that it serves us. We don't serve it. And there are some real issues about technology. Privacy, for example. We can solve that, but we have to be aware of it. So I am going to ask everybody here to thank you all for being most stimulating and wonderful. They're fabulous. I just want to say a few words by way of conclusion. This is our pen. It is really a great work in progress. It is really about the people. And that's what our Penn Compact 2020 is all about. It's about a vast Penn family, from the newest and youngest members through our alumni all around the country and the world. We really are so committed to bringing the very best students, giving them the best multidisciplinary education, and enabling them to have an impact in the world. So you've seen a little bit of it here. I want to thank our host committee. Let's give a big, would they stand up, please, members of the host committee, so we can thank you? Thank you. This is an amazing turnout. It really is an amazing turnout. And I love coming to Boston, and I love seeing all the people who have made Penn so strong. I want to give special thanks, just to call out our trustees and former trustees who are here this evening. Ofer Nemirovsky. Ofer, please stand up. Trustee and member of the Engineering Board of Overseers. Michael Sandler. Michael, where are you? Michael. Bill Shawbill. Bill. And Sarah Fuller. Sarah, where are you? So we're going to adjourn for reception, but before we do, I just want to say how important it is to have a group of alumni and friends and parents who are so dedicated to Penn and so accomplished in this wonderful city. It really makes a difference, and I hope our conversations continue. I want you to come back to Penn often, and I also want you to know how absolutely committed we are to keeping these stories going. And I want to say that the reason I do believe I have the privilege of having the best job in the world is there's nothing more important than seeing talented, hardworking people do well by doing good. I'm a political scientist and political philosopher by training, and I dare say the politics that I study and that surrounds us is not the most inspiring in recent American history. And America is just, as bad as it is here, it's a lot worse in some other parts of the world. I'm not saying that because misery loves company. I'm saying that because we have a lot of work to do. And it is only on the basis of knowledge and using those frontal lobes of ours And it's only on the basis of having higher education, which really takes us as its mission, making a difference in the world, that we can actually show what the value is of having a great institution of higher learning. I thank you for your support. I welcome you back to Penn, and I really feel that the welcome here has been wonderful. So thank you again, and let's thank our students again.